is an At the Office edition of the East Bank Sports Show, serving up the hottest sports takes from right here in Cleveland, Ohio. It's your hosts, Noah, John, and Erik.
Welcome into yet another edition of At the Office, the East Bank Sports Show. Erik, John, me, back at it yet again. Got a whole slew of topics to talk about. I'm really excited for this one, even though I did just talk to you guys on the last episode of the East Bank Sports Show. On Monday, we talked all about our confidence levels in the Cleveland sports franchises, so make sure you go check that out. Want to give a quick shout out before we get into it to everybody at the Fanatical Elves. Make sure you check out their shows as well. John, Lou, Sam, there's a bunch of good guys over there. Make sure you go check them out. And finally, of course, to Fans First Sports Network. They are the bread and butter, the backing of everything we do here. Want to give them a shout out. But to start the shout outs after that, John, nice shirt, man. Tell them where they can get it.
At the Office, Team Shop. I don't know what it's called, though. You have to tell them. I can tell them it's high quality and I love it. It is. It's not going to peel on you. It's like soaked into the fabric. Comes nice and wrinkle-free, breathable. You should definitely get one.
You can get that over at the Fanatical Elf shop. You can check that out in the link tree associated with the East Bank Sports Show. You can check that out at the Fanatical Elf's Twitter. It's our link in bio. Make sure you go check it out. You know, we got some good prices and stuff like that over there. Even if you buy a sticker and show some support on your water bottle. I'm a big water bottle sticker guy. So, Erik, I've ignored you long enough. Go ahead. How are you doing, man?
What's up, my man? I'm good. I'm pumped up. I'm ready to go. It's a beautiful night to talk shit to you gentlemen. So let's do it.
Real quick, before we get into 30-second takes and do, our normal, show that we do here. I feel like 9 times out of 10 that we do this show, it is raining and or thunderstorming. Because I was supposed to go to the Guardians game today, and we ended up just doing our regular 9 p.m. show because, the baseball game got canceled before they even opened the gates, which sucks. But oh well. But yeah, I feel like we are always in a rain situation when we're here. I feel like John's background's always lighting up with lightning and thunder and everything.
Which is fun because he's my litmus test of what the weather's doing, because I'm truly at the office location and it's so insulated. There's no windows where I'm at. And it's all like stone and brick, so I can't hear a thing.
Right. So let's get into it, guys. I think we got a nice little fun start off to the 30-second takes. Let me run the billboard. So 30-second takes. Would you rather have Eli Manning or Aaron Rodgers' career? To break this down real quick for those who did not see the, I believe Barstool was the one that tweeted about this, but CJ Stroud actually said he'd rather have Eli Manning's career. John, I'm going to let you start because I cut you off last time. 30-second takes on the clock. Go.
Yeah, I don't even need 30 seconds. It's a no-brainer. I would definitely rather be Eli Manning. He has more Super Bowl rings. He played in a bigger market for a more comparable franchise. The Packers do have some history there, but unless Aaron Rodgers made a lot more money, I can't think of a reason you'd rather be Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, to me, is the Boston Celtics of the NFL. Whole lot of hype. I don't know why. I guess he got one, which is better than the Celtics, but Eli.
Look at you, right on time. Erik, I'm going to let you go, and I'm already going to hover the mute because you said before we got on air that you were probably going over. 30-second takes, Erik. Ready, set, go.
All right, I'll talk really quick. I was inspired by John last week, who took an accountant perspective of this, and I knew what you guys would say, so I broke it down in 4 areas: money, dating history, family, and football. Aaron Rodgers has made more money so far. His dating history: Olivia Munn, Danica Patrick, Shailene Woodley. I take that. Family's Eli, obviously, all the way, and football is Eli beating the GOAT. So at the end of the day, dating and money tops it for me. Rodgers wins.
That was fantastic that you got that in the 30 seconds. I can't even believe that you ran that off. That was that's definitely either. Oh yeah, me either. That's a TikTok clip for sure.
So Erik, you rather be Derek Jeter than anybody. You don't really give I mean, You don't
Well,
give a
we
shit
know he's
about
a Yankees
winning.
fan already, so it doesn't matter.
Come on. First of all, he is like the GOAT at shortstop. So yeah, duh. But come on, fellas.
I like the way you went about it, but the question was whose career would you rather have, not whose girlfriends would you rather have.
Yeah, I definitely pick Eli if I'm picking career only. But I knew you guys would say that, and we haven't heard Noah yet. I just wanted to change it up. I'm picking the girlfriends.
Let me go into it.
Just one quick follow up on that.
You have
I know,
bro.
I said I don't get why Aaron Rodgers has the hype. I do get it. He's a great quarterback. I don't get why.
Anyway, so because the 30-second takes are supposed to be in the 30 seconds, I've muted John, so I am now going to go. I love the energy we got going on today. John, you're unmuted. How do you feel? 2 shows in a row.
I'm coming for you. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do for this the second time.
30-second takes from your host, Noah Olson. Real quick, simple. It's obviously Eli. Aaron Rodgers, I feel like, has 100% had the most hype out of a lot, the 2 names that we're talking about. Eli's had the better career, the Super Bowls, winning, beating the GOAT. He's still a part of a historic family too. Between him, Peyton, his dad, they're all in a high regard. I think he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. I've always stood on that hill, and I'll die on that hill. And that's my 30-second take. Boom. All right, guys. So we have a fun one. We changed the title of this topic. It was supposed to be something completely different earlier in the week. We are now going into all of the Caitlin Clark drama that has been going on in, the national media as of late. So I'm going to play a clip, and then we're going to go from there. And for everybody watching at home as well, the clips should have enough audio for you to get what's going on. So we'll take it from there.
Carter and Clark. I mean, that's clearly a foul, which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Chennedy Carter.
So that was the clip. What are our reactions? John, you go first.
So it's hard to keep it. Contained. My reaction to that video is stupid foul. Basketball is basketball. People are going to play tough and hard, and rookies are going to take some shit. You ask any rookie who's ever played in any professional, semi-professional, college, high school sport, freshmen or newbies or rookies take some heat, and Caitlin Clark has all of the glitz and glam and the money. She's even higher up on that list of people to hate because a lot of the women she's playing against feel like she hasn't earned it. And frankly, she hasn't. I don't want to say it's undeserved because she was great in college, but she hasn't done much in pro. I don't know. As a former athlete, I watch something like that and say they got the call right. She'll probably get fined a little bit, but
well, hold on. They got the call right. They called it a common foul on the floor. That's not getting the call right at all.
I thought they came back and
after the game.
Yeah.
After the game. That's ridiculous. But go on.
No, I mean, but at the end of the day, if it doesn't have an impact on the game, it doesn't really matter to me. I think it's much to do about nothing. That one clip and that one video, people shove and push all the time. If it were guys, I don't think we'd be talking about it. If they were both black and both white, I don't think we'd be talking about it. I just think she got a little hot-headed. She shoved her. She got, roughly speaking, what the call should have been against her, and let's move on.
Erik, I want to know what you have to say about this whole thing because I know you were coming in hot for this episode. So go ahead, my man.
Yeah, I mean, first, let's give John credit with the usual measured take. But now I'm going to spit some facts at you. First of all, is she being targeted? A little bit. And I don't just mean this play. I'm going to break down this play. Don't you worry. But in general, she's being defended like nobody else in the history of the WNBA. And I don't think that means she's being targeted. But, man, are these girls, number one, jealous? And number two, terrified that she's going to make them look foolish. When you're guarding somebody in their face for 93 feet of the court and the ball's already ahead of you, what are you doing, man? First of all, that's not even how you play defense. We had one girl that was so worried. Caitlin Clark's in her head so much. She hits her foul shot and goes and runs right to guard her. She had a second foul shot she kind of forgot about. So the fact that she's already under, I love it. First of all, she's under people's skin. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. There's a rumor going around too that Angel Reese has a man apparently, and Angel claims she doesn't. But there's like feed from the bench of Angel saying something along the lines of like, "Why is she always liking my man's pictures?" So there's this rumor that Caitlin Clark is going on Instagram and liking Angel Reese's man's photos just to get under her skin. Doesn't say a word about it, just slyly gets under there. I don't know that that's true. It's probably not, but I like the story. My point here is, though, that people are coming for her. Lynette Woodard, who had the scoring record before Caitlin Clark broke it, she recently even went on the record saying that she didn't really break my record because she's able to shoot threes and I wasn't. There were no threes when I played the game. I'm going to use my one right here, Noah. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, come on, guys. First of all, are we going to say, Wilt Chamberlain, he didn't really have the record because he couldn't shoot a three. Maybe that's a bad example because he's the one with the record. But my point is, this is ridiculous. Had Kobe scored 101, we wouldn't be having the same conversation. Gino Auriemma, the master of women's basketball, has recently said that she is being targeted as well. Shout out. Thank you, Gino, for signing 5 more years with my Huskies. And then we have Chennedy Carter. First of all, what's up, Noah? I see you wanting to
No,
jump
you're
in.
good. You're good. You're good.
All right. First of all, that's a non-basketball play. And it doesn't need to happen. Thankfully, nobody was hurt in this situation. But you could see somebody being hurt in that play. That said, I will say, sometimes frustration boils over. It's ridiculous. First of all, the Chennedy hate that she's getting for her looks or obviously for things like race, that should never happen. It should happen because she's a shit human being, but not for the aforementioned things. The thing is, it's not a basketball play, but had she, after the game in the press conference, said, you know what? The heat of the moment got to me. I made a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. I own that. I apologize. That's not me. And this isn't basketball. I think people would have respected her for that. Instead, she doubled down and made it seem like she's in the right, and then even said, what's Caitlin good for besides three? But I told you guys I have facts. So let me just...
Wait, I do want to come up for air on one thing. You said she's a shit human being. I think that's a step far.
I'm taking one incident and applying it here.
Yeah.
So in that framework, yes. Overall, I don't know Chennedy. By the way, thank you. You make an excellent point. Chennedy, who? I did not know who this girl was before this incident. And nobody did. You, maybe if you're a diehard WNBA fan, you knew who she was, but I had no idea who she is. But you're right. I'm speaking from passion here, John. You're right. I don't know if she's a shit human being, but in that moment she was.
Yeah.
But
real quick,
I got the stat sheet. Yeah.
Before you break out your stat sheet, because I think this is going to be fantastic, I just want to throw my little point in there because I think you're going to dominate this segment 100%. I'm just happy we're talking about women's sports. I'm happy that we are at a point in time where we can all sit down and be entertained and not act too cool for women's sports. Little background on myself real quick. My last class I took for my PE minor before I graduated from the wonderful College of Worcester right here behind me, if you couldn't see my football helmet.
Go Scots.
Yes, sir. Was a woman in sports class. And I say to this day, that was my favorite class I ever took at Worcester. We've got people coming in talking about, I forget the name of the website, and that's on me. I probably should have done that, pulled that up before I went into this. We were doing work on archives for the athletic building, a website, host. She was a writer. She got paid like her living wage to write for a women's sports website. She came in to talk to us because she knew a person who knew a person who knew a Worcester person. And I've gotten to a point now where I appreciate, the WNBA and women's sports. They're trying to get the softball thing going. Obviously, the women's national team has been crazy for years and years and years. And, I've always kind of followed that loosely, even though I'm not a soccer guy like Erik. But the point of my rant and the point of me talking about a college class and all that is I'm just really happy that we're sitting here on a Wednesday night at 9:20. If you're watching this live, thank you for being in here, talking about women's sports and making it our main topic, as opposed to, just using it as, the second or third. And the second and third topics today are going to be fun. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just happy that this is where we're at, in terms of sports, because the more sports, the better in my mind.
I think there's also a piece of that matters too. I want to hear Erik's list and for him to get his sheet back out and stack it, because I can't wait for that. But I do think because it's a women's sport, there's also a double standard. I played hockey and baseball growing up. Shoving and pushing after the whistle happens in every sport. I think it was a cheap shot. It was in the back. I think her teammates could have defended her. But this kind of stuff happens. If you think this is bad, here comes our obligatory mention the fact that John's the oldest again, but I'll do it to myself this time. Go watch what the Pistons did to Michael Jordan. Go watch what happened to Shaq before he became Shaq, was getting banged down low. Look at what people like Patrick Ewing used to do in the NBA, and then come back and tell me this is a despicable human being. She shoved her in the back. She got a technical foul. Move on. I agree with what you're saying, Erik. Who is she? Why did she do it? She should have got attacked. It's sports. When tension's running high and people are being competitive, they do and say things they don't mean. I just played a parents versus the kids volleyball game against a bunch of sixth graders, and people were throwing down and spiking at their kids. I served one right at my kid. It's my own daughter. You're going to push somebody in the WNBA. I think she shouldn't have done it in a perfect world, but I don't think anything of it. I know it was away from the play, but I don't think it makes her a despicable human. She got caught up in the moment. She shoved a girl. She got attacked. This shit happens every week in the NBA. Nobody says anything.
You guys, before
quick too, because oh, my bad, Erik. I'm gonna jump in one more time because I'm gonna let you go on your tangent because the stats are intimidating me that we're all gonna have to sit back for a couple minutes. I just want to say, if I saw that, I'm going to use the Cavs as an example because, we are a very Cleveland-based show. If I saw that happen to Donovan Mitchell out of the blue because of how, you could say, we'll get into that in a second because there's more clips that we're going to play and, kind of break down and talk about. I'd be pissed as
Kelly Olynyk. Do we not still
right?
talk about
it's
that?
the same. It's right. That's what I'm thinking. this is less blatant as compared to,
she could have broke her neck.
I don't know about that. That's where I draw I don't know if I draw the line. You can't break. She shoved her. I think it's a little bit of a punt move to push her in the back and from the blind side. I think she could have faced her up. But people do this stuff all the time. Donovan Mitchell threw a basketball at what's his face from the Jazz, who he was going
but he was facing him.
Yeah, and Kelly Olynyk ripped Kevin Love's arm out of socket. I think there's a difference between that and pushing somebody.
That's fair. It's still blatant out of nowhere. And, not just if I were a coach and I saw one of my players do that, that's bench done.
Yeah. And they celebrate Angel Reese clapping. It's all classless at the end of the day. I do want to bring up, you guys both mentioned two really good points. I'll address John's first. The fact that Caitlin Clark's teammates were nowhere to be found. Are you kidding me? First of all, if somebody did that to one of my boys, you better believe I'm getting tossed from that game. So the fact that they didn't have her back, that's ridiculous in my opinion. So that's point number one. Point number two to Noah, and I actually did have this point written down, Noah. The fact that we're talking about the women's game, I love it, number one. And number two, I do think that what the WNBA needs, ironically, are more rivalries. I think we need this animosity. We need this infighting because that's what's going to drive viewers and ultimately money. to the sport. So I think that, if Chennedy Carter is going to play the new bad guy, and maybe that's a role that suits her well, because we'll get into the stats and maybe basketball's not her role. But if she wants to be that new bad guy, that's what the W needs. I think that's going to propel the league further. And I am here for it. It was a cheap shot. Her teammates should have had her back.
And they also need her from a WNBA perspective.
100%.
Listen to what I'm saying and take the words and don't extrapolate them too far. Caitlin Clark is as important, if not more important, than Michael Jordan was to the NBA at the same point in his career. This league is fledgling. Nobody was watching it. Their ratings were shit, and they got Caitlin Clark, and everybody cares about the WNBA. They're going to change the rules for it like they did with Jordan. We won't have to worry about most of this stuff by 2026 because they need her to score 40 a night. And if she can't do it with the current rules, they'll just change the rules. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But the 10-minute preamble out, Erik, we got to get to the sheet, right?
Yeah.
The stats from this season. Caitlin Clark, and keep in mind that Kennedy's stats are they're about these averages for her career, but I just pulled this season head to head. I thought that made more sense. Caitlin Clark is averaging 15.6 points per game as of today. Chennedy Carter is averaging 12.5. Caitlin Clark is averaging 5.1 rebounds per game. Chennedy Carter, 2.8 rebounds per game. Caitlin Clark is averaging 6.4 assists per game. Chennedy Carter is averaging 2.5. And Caitlin Clark is averaging 1.3 steals per game. Chennedy Carter, 1 steal per game. She's trash. You know what? I said I could take 1 point off of LeBron. I'll take the whole damn game off of Kennedy. I will say, in fairness, before I top this up, I did cross out the amount of minutes because Caitlin Clark is averaging 33 minutes to Kennedy's. I didn't even write it down, but it was less. And Caitlin Clark is shooting, it's crossed out, but I think it's 35.7% field goal percentage. And I didn't write down Kennedy's because it was like 50.1. But I had a point to make. She's trash. Get out of here.
I don't know. I need to know the minutes because I would take 12, 3, and 3 out of a lot of players.
I don't know.
Real quick, is great, but trash is 12, 3, and 3. We get 12.
If we're looking at this, from the outside looking in too, you're talking about a tenured WNBA player versus a rookie.
If we're
arguing sports at that point, I mean, like Caitlin Clark still gets the benefit of the doubt because she's a rookie.
Listen,
right?
At the end of the day, I think that this needs to be squashed sooner than later. I think Kennedy would do herself a favor to squash it because she's just pouring gasoline on the fire constantly. I came in really inflammatory because that's fun, and I'm going to back my girl Caitlin. Her teammates might not have her back, but I have her back. But at the end of the day, I mean, John's points are pretty valid. It happens for sure. I don't like that her back was turned. I don't like that it was pretty vicious. I mean, let's be honest. That's not a basketball play at all. It's not a little shoving to someone's face afterward. She came for her with her back turned when she was unaware. That's just shitty. But it's time to move on. And for the love of God, and this is off topic, but can we please fix the lights in the 1W arena where the shadows are like 10 feet on the floor? I mean, that's the second worst thing that's happened so far this season. For crying out loud, it's hard to watch.
Weird arenas and stuff. Yeah, it's
I will say one
thing
more
I want to throw in here too. Go ahead, Erik. My bad.
As much as I love Caitlin Clark, because I think she's so good for the sport, I think Cameron Brink so far should be your MVP. I think she provides a better spark, pun intended, for the Sparks. I've watched quite a bit of the W actually this year, and she, along with Haley Van Lith, who is still in college, the two of them are teaming up. It was just announced as part of the 3-on-3 Olympic team. I'm not sure who the third's going to be, but that's pretty cool.
Something I want to throw out there too for Kennedy, not to drag her, but John made the comment of like calling her a bad person or whatever. She did have 2 instances.
Well, I didn't call her a bad person.
No, you called out Erik. My bad.
defended,
I'm
but-
sorry. Yeah. She did have those 2 instances in her past. I don't know if you guys saw this. One, she was kicked out of her first WNBA team for acting in detriment to her teammates or something like that. Basically, she was threatening her teammates because they were telling her she had a bad attitude. Then she went to LA and got cut halfway through the season for having a bad attitude. So there is a track record there of this player being, a little feisty, a little, gonna shove in the back, that kind of thing. So
Where's my stat sheet?
Before I tell somebody that in my mind, there's a big difference between bad person and locker room cancer or a bit of a knucklehead too.
Oh, I agree. I wasn't trying to call her a bad person with that backing either. I don't know a single thing about her prior to this, so I have no judgment on her whatsoever.
I'm not coming at her character. I'm just coming at her as a basketball player in the moment. She did a knuckleheaded thing, but
was she not there?
There's a lot of men who are basketball players who don't get along with their teammates. And to be honest, out of Karis LeVert or Isaac Okoro, if you could guarantee me 12, 3, and 3 a night, sign me up.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. But was she not there when Ray Lewis murdered somebody? Was she not part of the OJ murder?
Those are bad people. Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Ray Rice is a bad person.
Yeah.
Fair.
So
yeah, and
we have another clip that
hold on, because John is dead ass right in that there is a double standard, because when we sport wash the male sports, when our own quarterback, not to throw him under the bus, sorry buddy, but when our own quarterback is kind of a questionable dude, and we can get over that no problem and wear his jersey and talk about, man, we hope he stays healthy. But we're talking about Kennedy from one shove.
Yep.
That is ridiculous. You're right.
Or Kareem Hunt, or I'm not going to list everybody, but
yeah.
And they redeem themselves and stuff. You're right.
Moving on, we have another clip. We actually have 3 Caitlin Clark clips we're going to break down. So we have the next one coming up now. I'm going to play it, and then we're going to go from there.
I think so many people are watching women's basketball right now. Yeah. It all started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. And understanding, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that, because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas, just because of one single game. And just looking at that, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that. It's not just because of one person. A lot of us have done so much for this game, and Kennedy has been here before, obviously, but there are so many great players in this league that have deserved this for a really, really long time, and luckily, it's coming now.
So real quick, to give some background on that, right? That clip went viral, obviously probably the last 15 seconds of that, for saying that WNBA has not gone viral for one person. It's all of us, and I'm part of that. I think that part of the statement is very interesting. I want to hear, Erik, what you think about that part of the statement and the whole clip that you watched as a whole.
Listen, I think Angel Reese is probably overstating her role a little bit, but I don't think she's wrong. She certainly has helped propel the narrative and propel the sport further. Now, is anybody talking about Angel Reese in the WNBA if there's no Caitlin Clark? No, of course not. She's overstating for sure the impact that she's had, but she is correct. I mean, she is a part of this story. She has brought eyeballs. That LSU team and that rivalry, people were talking about a rematch this year. That was a part of it, certainly. Just she's casting herself as a main character, and at best she's a secondary side quest friend. So she needs to take a little bit of the backseat, but no, I don't have any problem with what she said.
So what I think is interesting, though, is because we were talking about Kennedy being the villain, right? I wish we would have said that going into this next clip, because I thought it would have been a perfect transition. She basically claims being the Joker to Clark's Batman or Robin or whatever. And I think that's really interesting. I do think they're, star-crossed lovers or haters or however you want to put that. Their rivalry is a big reason why women's basketball is so popular right now, right? LSU, Iowa. I mean, I all the games I've watched from that, all the hype, all of that. It's just interesting to me that everybody, to me, it sounds like jealousy a little bit too. I'm not the face of the WNBA. This rookie girl is that, 2 years ago we didn't even hear about, but we've known about like Sabrina and all the names we could go through. I'm not going to start listing names.
Wait, actually pause right there though, because I thought about this the other night when we were talking topics. The biggest stars of the league, Ionescu, Kelsey Plum, notice how you hear nothing from them. They're not trying to drum up these false narratives. I feel like they're happy that the league is moving where it's meant to be moved, what they've been advocating for years now. Kelsey Plum talks about all the time that we don't want the same money as men. We want the same percentage of revenue share as men, which is completely fair because we're talking revenue at that point. You don't hear them dragging Caitlin because I think they're a little grateful that she's here. Sure, everybody wants to put the rookie in their place a little bit. I get that completely. That happens in all walks of life. That happens in business. That happens in sports. But they're not dragging her the same way that some of these other girls or other rookies are. And it is jealousy. You're dead on right.
I think it's 100%. I think a lot of things can be true at once. We think of things as a dichotomy or as black and white, and there's gray all over this thing. It can be that she's jealous. It could be that she has a chip on her shoulder and that she's salty and throwing shade. It could be poorly timed and not well received, and she could be right, like all at once. Batman is dope. If Batman didn't have the Joker and the Penguin and the Riddler, he's just kind of Bruce Wayne chilling at his place, right? Like, you got to have a villain. So she plays her role, and she's going to have a huge piece in the future of this league. Is it also true that, like, and you guys are going to the stars now, which I appreciate too, but Lisa Leslie was really, really good. Candace Parker was really, really good. And for whatever reason, they didn't move the needle historically in the way that she's doing it now. And I think there is some jealousy, and I think that they're right. And I also think it's, sour grapes. I think it's all true. I do know this, though. We aren't talking about any of this if Caitlin Clark isn't in the league, and that didn't happen. So while they're throwing shade and this whole media thing is playing out, there's no such thing as bad press right now for the WNBA because it gets eyeballs and clicks. Secretly, privately, after all the lights are off, when you're in bed saying your prayers at night, you better thank God Caitlin Clark came along, because it's going to get everybody paid here real soon.
Yeah, I think that goes back to the whole sentiment of, I'm happy that we're 34 minutes into the show right now and we're talking about women's basketball and still having a lively discussion. I think it's twofold, right? And I think you're very much correct in your point when you say she can be right, she can be jealous, and she can be poorly timed. Poorly timed because of the shove. That interview was right after the shove. Right, because, Angel Reese, I think, is not as big of a name as Caitlin Clark, but a big name that, was also looked at when, people were tuning into the WNBA draft and paying attention to, the rookies in general this year. I know my girlfriend, for example, loved Angel Reese until some of this drama, I believe. And then, yes, of course, too, it's just fantastic in general. Erik, you go ahead with your next take. I'm sorry. I thought you were about to say something.
No. I think we covered it really well. And, we are, like you said, 35 minutes in now talking women's sports, and that's great. But that said, we have two other really fun topics that I want to get to. So I think we should move on.
Magic and Bird. Getting big Magic and Bird vibes from these two.
I love it. We have one more clip to go over because I think it's very important. And then we will move on to the next topics 100%. But with where the timing is right now, we're going to cut to commercial break. When we come back, We're going to finish this Caitlin Clark segment, maybe go into one or two more topics depending on what time looks like, and go from there. We'll be back with the At the Office edition of the East Bank Sports Show. And we're back with the At the Office edition of the East Bank Sports Show. So I have one more clip that is involved with this Caitlin Clark thing. I had a feeling that we would be going for a while on this because it has been such a hot button topic in terms of the wider world of sports, which is kind of the goal over here at the office. You know, when we're at the office, we're talking everything. We're not just talking Cleveland all the time, because how much can we talk about the Guardians when they're just whooping everybody, even though they get delayed? So the last clip I'm going to play is an audio clip because it's from the Pat McAfee show. And I was nervous about playing a long clip from the Pat McAfee show. You know, big Mickey Mouse up there might not like it if I play, you know, a full video audio and all that. So we have the audio. I believe it's like 50 seconds. I'm going to play it, and then I want to get your guys' reactions because there was a lot of fallout. I think a lot of people saw this all over social media, but I want to see your reactions after I play the clip.
What the WNBA currently has is what we like to describe as a cash cow. There is a superstar. And we're not saying that the players on the court need to act any differently. That's the athletes are going to do what athletes are going to do in any sport. And I think we're all learning that WNBA, that's old school football, baby. That is old school football. But I would like the media people that continue to say, this rookie class. Nah, just call it for what it is. There's one white bitch for the Indiana team who is a superstar. And is it because she stayed in Iowa, put an entire state on her back, took a program from nothing to a multiple year success story? Is it because she would go on to break the entire points records in the history of the NCAA? Not just the women's record by Kelsey Plum, shout out, but also Pistol Pete Maravich's, the dude's record as well. What the WNBA currently has.
So, with that being said, you know, I think we all know what the highlight of that segment was that he said that there's a white bitch, and, you know, that whole thing was blown up because it was just a clip of him saying white bitch and bringing race into it and all this other stuff. I wanted to play the longer clip to kind of show where it sat in terms of everything we were talking about. You know, I kind of want to be fair to everyone here, because if I just played the Angel Reese, the controversial part, and the Pat McAfee controversial part, you know, but I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Pat McAfee did apologize for those comments. If you go look for this clip on YouTube, it is actually cut out the part where he says white bitch already. Caitlin Clark also publicly said that she accepts his apology and everything. I don't think she really cared that much because she doesn't give me that energy. But John, I want you to go ahead and start us off. What do you think about that clip, all the media reaction throughout the week and all of that?
Yeah, it's tough for me. I'm a firm believer that when stuff happens and it's against a certain group of people, whether it be a minority or a majority, if you're not in that group to comment on it, is okay, but you have to realize the fact that you're not the expert on it. So that said, the first thing I would say is I would defer to a woman's perspective, and I would defer to Caitlin Clark. If she said she accepts his apology, I believe her. I watch a lot of Pat McAfee and don't think of him as a poor character guy. He gets caught up in the moment, gets a little loose with the language and says some things. I don't think he meant it in a derogatory to women type of way. I think it just came up. He was trying to chop it up like, yeah, she's one of the guys, one of the girls kind of thing. But I also don't want to minimize it. I don't think national pundits should call women bitches ever. You can't go wrong if you don't, right? So should he have said it? No. I don't think he's some sort of misogynist, put Caitlin Clark down because she's a woman, think of women as inferior to men kind of dude. I think he just let it fly and got way too loose, and he apologized. And I think it's okay to accept his apology and move on. But I would also defer to women out there to say, hey, how did that make you feel? What do you think? How does it sit? And understand how they feel about it. But like I said, from my perspective, he was wrong. He apologized. I don't think it should cost him his job or anything. You just got to be careful when you're moving forward. to be respectful of everybody.
Yeah, I had John lead us off there because I knew he'd put it perfectly. So, Erik, however you want to top that, go ahead, my man, because I agree with everything John said.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what John said too. He shouldn't lose his job. That said, I think putting it in perspective does matter. We talk all the time offline. And, if you were to read our At the Office group chat or some of the things we talk about in person, we'd all be probably canceled because that's how friends talk to one another in general, right? And I'm not excusing that, but the way we talk to one another offline is very different than what we talk in a public persona. Now, obviously, I'm not saying we're not saying racist things or there's a line, right? Here's the thing though. If you know me, you know that one of my biggest irks is hypocrisy. And I think it's tough for the three of us, and I don't want to make it a political conversation, but the three of us that have similar politics, I think it's tough for us to say, if one guy had locker room talk, that guy, we look down upon that. He shouldn't have held office. That was a major point in how we look at somebody. And when somebody's in the spotlight, how we're trying to explain to, in John's case, our daughters, what that means and why a guy of such prominence is speaking that way. My point is that words have impact and words matter. I think he made a mistake and he slipped up, and it's not even the absolute worst thing that he could have said. John's right. I'd like to hear a female perspective on how they take that and how that made them feel. But you got to be smarter. You got to know that you're in a public forum saying these things and your words have weight. You're speaking to not just your male-centric bro, average sports viewer. We're talking about the wider world of sports where women are heavily involved. We're talking about, like you said, Noah, for 42 minutes now, we're talking women's sports. Well, women and young women, they're watching these things and they're hearing these words. So the fact that there can be impact from somebody's words in a negative way that way, I think is terrible. I don't want to blow it up, but I do think that context matters. And it would be hypocritical of me to say that it mattered one way. I understand that Pat McAfee's not running for president, at least not yet. It would be hypocritical of me to hold another person to that standard and not him. And from the time it happened to now, he handled it right. He apologized, etc. I think John's right. I do see him as a genuine guy. I don't think he has malice in his person and in the rest of the words that he says. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I really do think that words matter, and it's unfortunate that he chose to go that route.
I also think
I just want to add, this was kind of the thing I was curious about when, ESPN picked up Pat McAfee, because I remember watching Pat McAfee back in the day. It was very much him and his, high school friends just being boys, talking their shit at, like we would off air or whatever, kind of like what you're talking about. So I'm not saying that this was expected. I'm just saying it wasn't unexpected, and maybe not to this level either. And just to piggyback off of you guys too, I think he's a genuine dude. I think, he slipped up saying something in a derogatory way that wasn't supposed to be derogatory. It was,
Yeah, he's giving her props. I mean, he's not
right. Yeah,
he's not tearing it down.
That was the point too, because a lot of the clips that I saw floating around at first when it came out was just a clip of him saying, "It's one thing, it's that white bitch," or whatever, however he put it.
Well, they're going to spin it to take it out of proportion. That's for sure. But I would say go ahead, Noah.
No, you're good. You're good. All I was going to say is my goal with the clip that I put in there, the sound clip that I put in there, was to show that, it was more of a, holistic. I'm talking about the state of the union of the WNBA with all this stuff going on. And unfortunately, all of the great points that he was making got diminished by one, terrible phrasing, basically. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I was going to say two things holistically that I'd like to see happen, or that would be great, like to take this to the next level, because I don't think anybody in life should be defined by their worst moments. We've all made mistakes. I'm guilty of it too. The first thing that I would say is we get this fatigue when we talk about this stuff, and we want to link the struggle that women have for equality with Blacks, with Arabs, with Jews, with all these other different groups. Don't do that. Like my first thought was like, oh, this reminds me of Don Imus calling the Rutgers basketball team nappy-headed hoes. This is not that. It's similar in that somebody said something offensive. That's where it ends. Because one thing that I know is that my wife, being a white lady, and me being a Black man, both feel like we have stuff going on in our lives that isn't always on the even keel, but it is not the same. And what we should try to do is understand what's different and respect the differences. The thing that I would like to see out of Pat McAfee is just to learn from it. If he comes back and keeps doing stupid stuff like this, once is a mistake, twice is a pattern. If he's genuinely sorry and she accepts his apology, understand what he did, why it was hurtful, and then just learn from it and move on. Because like I said, I would not want to be judged by my worst decisions. I wouldn't even want to be judged by some of the stuff that I did that wasn't that big a deal. We all had massive Chief Wahoo everything that said Indians all over everything 5 years ago. And we learned that for a lot of reasons that was hurtful and not acceptable. And now I just have a bunch of guardian shit. And some people get pissed about that. You can get pissed if you want to, but just keep learning and keep growing. That's all we can really ask of him. So as long as he's really sorry and he's going to do better, I think that's all we can do at this point, because the genie's out of the bottle.
Yeah, 100%. All in all, I think it's, again, fantastic that we're talking about women's sports and we can have all this different type of discourse going around. It's a slow time in sports right now. Like, baseball is entertaining, don't get me wrong, but, there's a point in time where you have all 4 major sports leagues playing in October.
Yeah, that's so dope, isn't it? I love it. And the fall is the best, dude. The fall is the best.
It's tough when you're sitting here now, and I love the Guardians, and if you check out our episode we did on Monday, we talked about all the hype and excitement and all the stuff we got going on potentially with the Guardians. I mean, it only scratches the itch so much. I already missed the Cavs. I've been missing the Browns since they lost to the Texans because I'm that big of a football junkie.
Well, they should have started the damn finals a week ago, but that's another topic for another podcast, because we could have at least one more thing to talk about.
They try to lengthen that out so much. It's frustrating.
This isn't football.
Guys, I was
10 days off. God damn.
Yeah.
Right. I'm very excited, especially being outside. My seasonal hiring as a Cleveland Cavaliers employee is now up, so I am able to sports bet on basketball again. And I am very excited to sports bet on the finals. So check the East Bank Sports Show Instagram at the East Bank Sports Show for some parlays, maybe. Guys, I kind of want. What did you say?
I'm fading you. Whatever you got, I'm taking the opposite. We'll see you.
Do it. I'll just take all the money.
I wasn't gonna give shit, but since John did, don't follow his picks, guys.
Follow the Instagram. You don't have to follow my picks, though. Guys, I was gonna kind of see where you're at, because I think this episode came out really good where we're at, and we can use these topics next week. If you guys want to do one more, I'm totally down to do one more. I just know we're going up on the 50-minute mark already, and I don't want to, rush a topic to, kind of keep in a time frame that is, swallowable for a viewer. But it's up to you guys. Give me your thoughts on what you want to do. You want to save our topics or go on with at least one more?
Let's do one more. We're here. We gotta change it up. I mean, we just kind of had a little bit of a heavy end to that topic. Let's change it up and just finish out one more.
Agreed.
Okay. I saw your head, so I already turned it off. I was flipping it to go into the other one. I think this is the most lighthearted one out of the two. So we're gonna go. Can you win the Masters if you start on the green? I already know Erik's answer to this based off of the 99-point LeBron question from a few episodes ago.
First of all, You know what, though, Noah? John and I always start off, so why don't you start this one off? I want to hear your opinion first.
Yeah, for sure.
And then
Okay,
we'll
I'll
tell
go
you why
right
you're
into
wrong.
Okay, I know you're both going to tell me why I'm wrong because I'm still losing the Masters because I go play putt-putt and I'm still, getting a double bogey no matter what, right? I am terrible on the
Putt-putt?
green. I am terrible on the – yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I am
Wait.
not coordinated with the golf club.
We really got to know for this segment, do you golf at all?
No.
Okay.
You know that.
I
thought you
didn't think
both
so,
knew
but
that.
I just wanted to clarify.
Does Top Golf count? Like, that's the closest I get is when I'm
Mm.
playing, like, the Angry Birds game at Top Golf. And I'm
That is a
working on my
fun
swing
one, I
with
will
it.
say.
100%. I don't think I'm winning the Masters. I think I'm placing decent. I think I'm placing better than I would if I was playing the Masters straight up, but I don't think I'm winning the Masters. I think I'm walking home empty-handed, no green jacket. Go ahead.
Let me say this first, though, because I think we need to put some parameters. Are we saying Sunday only 18 holes, or are we saying the entire tournament? Because that makes a big difference too.
I think the whole tournament. That's how I took it. But
I took it as plop me down on Sunday. I don't think I'm even making it to Sunday at that point.
Fair.
I think I'm like going home. I'm sad. I'm sipping an almost. I can't say it right now.
Arnold
I'm sipping
Palmer.
a lemonade and iced tea, and I am crying my sorrows away with a nice whiskey and or beer. Go ahead.
All right,
What do
John,
you think?
are you putting on the green jacket?
this is gonna sound if you cut this like they cut the Pat McAfee clip, I'm gonna look like an idiot because you could take I think I could win the Masters. I did
Start it with I think I could win the Masters. That's
because
fantastic. I'm ready for
exactly.
for the TikTok clip.
I couldn't shoot a 120 at that course, I don't think. Here's how I break this down. I've been golfing since high school. I've shot in the mid 80s is my best round.
it's pretty good.
Nowhere near there now, but the one strong point of my game is lag putting. I don't sink a ton of them, but I'm a pretty solid 2-putt guy. Now, I'm not a big enough idiot to think because I can 2-putt Big Met that I could 2-putt Augusta.
Mm-hmm.
But even if you double that, if you can 4-putt every single hole, you'll shoot even par. 18 times 4 is 72. Par at Augusta, last I checked, was 72.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of years, 72 puts you right in the mix. If you go out and shoot even par for 4 days at Augusta, there are a lot of years where you're right there. The leader's 1 or 2 under. There's a few people right in there. You'll probably have to do a little bit better, but all of the greens at Augusta aren't a 4-putt. This is going to sound completely and totally asinine, but if I'm on every single green at the farthest point away from the hole, can I 4-putt a lot and 3-putt a lot to get myself to 2 or 3 under par per day and finish at 9, 10, 11, 12 under? I think so. I know the greens are crazy. I've never putted there. I'm going to screw some up, and I'll probably do worse than 4 on some. But, come on. You got to be able to get around Augusta just putting and shoot a 72? I don't know. I'm not a good golfer at all. But lag it up there, 2-putt, take your 3, and keep moving. I think I can get a 3 or 4 on most holes at Augusta just putting.
Erik, I'm ready. Tell me why you're going to win the Masters. Do you have a green jacket behind you ready to put on? Let's go. I'm ready.
I'm all about the showmanship for the moment. I should have done that. Let me start by saying that John, I've known John for a couple years now, close, right? A little over a year, something like that. We've become pretty close. We're good friends. You have lost all credibility with me. If you're an actual golfer, there is no way in hell you're winning the Masters, even if you're starting on the green. First of all, your math was a little off because I averaged out the last 10 Masters and what they shot under par, and averaging the last 10, it averages out to 10.5 under par.
Okay, so yeah, that's off.
So yeah, shooting par and being 1 or 2 under isn't going to get you there. I can only relate to my own golf experience. I'm not a very good golfer. I've been golfing since I was 8, and I'm still terrible. It's a tough sport. In high school, I was actually on the golf team. My very first round, you golfed 9 holes. I shot like a 40 something. And then the score just went up from there in each subsequent outing. I'm not sure what happened there. But at one point, one of the courses we played was an actual LPGA course. Those greens were so quick. They were by far the quickest greens that I've ever played on to date. And that's LPGA in Ohio, not a great course. We're talking Augusta. First of all, the reads that have to be made are insane. So when you inevitably putt off the green, you're telling me that you trust in your chipping ability to get back on the green and putt again?
No, I would just putt it. You can't chip. I think you got to putt only, don't you?
If you get into the rough because your ball's going so quick off the green, I think we'll give you a sand wedge or a pitching wedge too, or both. I don't care. There's no way. I think this is way harder than you realize. Just like with LeBron, I'm still waiting on you, LeBron. Just like that, if Augusta wants to have us down to start on the green and see how we finish, it doesn't have to be against pros. I'd love to go down and do that. But yeah, I think you're nuts. I think that it is a lot harder than you can imagine. And some of these greens are massive, by the way. Yeah. They're not like you said, Big Met. These are 3-4 times the size of those greens.
Way faster and trickier and nastier, but you get to start on the green.
You have each green, you need to putt in 2, basically, like you said.
No, so that's where I think your math is off. If you putt in 2 if you putt in 2, that's only 36 shots on a par 72.
Okay.
You would be
that's
36
fair.
Under par after 1 round if you 2-putted every hole.
Okay. But if you 4-putted, what did you say you were at?
72
exactly?
Par. And here's the thing. I think you're exactly right that there are some they just parked the Millennium Falcon out there and you got to whack a putt 138 feet just to get it. You're going to take some 6s. But think about the treacherous par 3 in Amen Corner where the green is only this big. I might fuck around and 2-putt that.
Or you'll be in the water and you got to take a penalty at that point.
You'll be fishing for the ball like I am, man. I think that's where we're all going to be at. I love your guys' confidence. And John, Erik,
yeah. Come on. Have you guys seen that professional golfers on the green hit a putt that then keeps rolling? It doesn't stop. It keeps trickling, rolls off the edge into the water. And you think you can beat a professional golfer? You're insane. There's no way. No way.
Wait. You're getting let's keep it tight. I didn't say I could beat a professional golfer. What I said was I could putt even par if I start on the green at Augusta.
Even par doesn't win.
Per par. Now, if we say, okay, you got to be 10 under.
-10 wins. This year it was -18, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but that's why it's the average, because some years it has been -2. Or I think there's a few years that +1 won the Masters, but check me on that. I could be
I'm
wrong.
gonna check you right now.
I don't.
This is gonna be the wrap up right here.
I don't know. I think
the last time +1 won was, and this is an outlier for sure, was 2007.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't say it happened often. I just said I think +1 won the Masters before.
And then
that course gets dry, there are some problems out there.
Before that, -2 won. That was Jack Nicklaus in 1972. Even in 1966, again Jack Nicklaus. Maybe a debate topic was Jack Nicklaus overrated, because sure seems like he was getting the easy years, but I don't know. I think you're nuts. I think you have a better chance of getting 5 points off LeBron. Okay, maybe that's stretching it. I just don't see it.
I don't. If I got to get to 11 under, oh shit, no, it's across 4 days. Can I take 70 putts each day and finish at a -8 to put yourself right there to win the Masters? I don't
And
know.
don't forget,
I still think I could. I'm not letting you guys talk me out of it.
don't
I mean,
forget.
goddamn, if I could
gotta add in the
4-putt every
pressure.
single hole and 3-putt 2, I'm at a -2 every day, which gets me to -8. I think I could average that out over the time. And you're going to get better.
I think you really got to add in the pressure of it, though. So you have a guy that's eagling a hole, and now you got to go out there. Oh, I'm going to place my ball at the farthest spot. And I see he just got an eagle. I got to try to match him. Golf's a mental game, and I get it. You're not swinging from the tees, but I don't think so.
I don't like.
Real quick.
I get a par 3.
I just want to show the comment. Shout out Zeke Dog, returning viewer. None of us are ever getting on the Augusta National ever anyway, so I'm not
Zeke,
really
speak
worried
for yourself,
about
buddy.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go again.
I plan to get at Augusta one of these days. Listen, John, I'll put my money where.
Is actually a distant cousin of mine. I might have Condoleezza Rice, member, actually distant cousin. So you never.
Condoleezza Rice is a cousin of yours?
No, but that's my point to him. He doesn't know that.
Okay. We are completely off of here now. So we are gonna go into
Hold up.
Bad.
I want to put my money where my mouth is real quick. John and I already have a half court bet of $20 that he will not sink a half court in how many shots? 50?
I think you said, either
50.
40 or 50.
40 or whatever. I don't care.
It was 50. It was
50 shots. Okay, so $20 on that. John, I would like to put another $20. I want us to, we'll pick a course. We'll pick the hardest course we can in Northeast Ohio. $20 in 18 holes. What's the number that you won't be under? Because we're only going to do 18. We're not going to go out there 4 days.
Can I drive the cart and maybe like get a beer here and there? Is that my role? Can that be my role? I'm in for that.
Sure.
I would love it. Let's figure it out.
Yeah, let's get that mark, whether that's -10 or whatever. But we'll do that where we'll pay for the round and just go to each green, or I'll golf it and then you'll go to each green. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I'll golf it with you, but then when I get to the green, we'll do it there. Okay, I'm in for that. That sounds
all right.
Like fun.
$20 virtual shake.
Virtual shake. What do I have to shoot?
We'll figure that out. We'll figure it out.
You heard it here first. We have 2 bets going on now. Make sure you follow us on the TikTok at the East Bank Sports Show and follow the Instagram at the East Bank Sports Show. If you follow us over there, that'll be where your bonus content is. I am now cutting you off for real this time so we can go into final thoughts and takes. John, take it away.
Give me a second. I forgot mine because I was so deep on Augusta. I'm gonna let Erik go again first, but I guarantee whatever I had, it's not gonna be the same. But yeah,
Erik, but maybe. You're right. I don't think it will be the same because I have a really out there hot take for you guys this time. Here's an idea. The NFL should eliminate all kicking specialists with the exception of punters. So you still have field goals. You still have extra points, but a position player has to be the one that kicks the field goals, kickoffs too. That goes for extra points, and they have to have like a minimum number of snaps where they're actually on the field. Like we're not talking, oh, he's a lineman, but he can kick. No, this guy actually has to play. Here's what it does. Let me walk you through it because I see Noah going, you're crazy. Here's what it does. Number one, I think it makes the game more interesting. But number two, what you avoid, Noah, you can stop shaking your head. Just give me a minute.
No, I won't.
What you avoid, can we mute him, John, by mutual consent?
All right. His fucking Wi-Fi will do it for us if we want.
Right. Go ahead, finish.
And I know it's out there, but here's what you avoid. And we're gonna do this along with my NBA reality show, All-Star Villa. What you're able to avoid with this is the situation between the Chiefs and Bills. Patrick Mahomes has to get to like the freaking 50, and that's it, to potentially win the game. If Travis Kelce was the one that had to kick that, it changes the dynamic of a late game winning field goal. I think that too many teams are eliminated or too many close games are the result of a last-second field goal. Adam Vinatieri won, 2 of them for the Patriots that way? When the other team, I know we've changed the playoff rules now, but when the other team can't get the ball back or doesn't get a chance, as time expires, you nail a 56-yarder. That's a little ridiculous to me. Out of a 100-yard field, you're saying you only need to get to 56 of it? I think you would see more competitive games because of that, and teams like the Bills wouldn't get shafted each year.
I disagree, but it's hot takes. So maybe it'll be a broader topic on a new episode of the East Bank Sports Show at the office. Go ahead, John.
I remember mine. I think I would rather have nothing but kickers start at the 25 and back up 5 yards to determine overtime than I would not have kickers on the roster. But yeah, we'll come back to it.
Oh, that's a fun one. All right. I like that.
Yeah. I remember what mine was. I don't know if it qualifies as a hot take, but it's a last take. I saw LeBron with JJ Redick on a podcast recently, and they asked him what he thought about Kyrie Irving. And his words were something to the effect of, I'm so effing happy for him and what he's doing, but I'm so effing mad that I'm not still playing with him and that he's not still my sidekick. I have held for a very long time that if you ask LeBron James and Kyrie Irving and their privately what was on their hearts, you would never tell anybody else, that they both said if they had it to do it over again, they just kept their ass in Cleveland. It's too little too late for Cavs fans. We're never going to see what that would have looked like. But I do think if they both had their druthers, that either LeBron would be headed to Dallas, Kyrie would be heading to LA. There's all kinds of stuff out there about how hard the Lakers tried to get Kyrie and then decided not to use the cap space and move the pieces necessary. But I just thought it was interesting. It ended so bitterly at the end of that title run in Cleveland. They went their separate ways for a few years, came back together. But to hear LeBron admit outwardly, like, yeah, I'd still want to play with this guy. And for Kyrie, who used to be the kid to LeBron, who's now the old guy playing with Luka in Dallas, to say, yeah, it'd be great to play with LeBron too, and him try to work out something for them to come together, I thought was pretty cool. So not really a victory lap. I've been saying it for years, true, but more so just an acknowledgement that, like, don't take it for granted. Enjoy that Guardians run, because you never know who's going where, when, and how it's going to end. So just live in the moment as a Cleveland sports fan and enjoy them while you have them.
Kyrie's maturing is one of my weirder happy things, like watching him mature.
Yeah.
Because he talked about in 17, this just came out recently, or in 17, how there were stretches of like days in the playoffs where he didn't talk to any of his teammates. But to watch him grow up and be that mentor figure, which I think is what he wanted all along, he just needed to grow up, but be that guy to Luka a little bit, even though it's still Luka's team. It's so refreshing. I'm such a Mavs fan for this finals. I love it.
So my hot take is simple, and I kind of already said it today. My hot take goes as follows. I'm really happy that we're talking about women's sports, and I'm entertained by women's basketball. It's as simple as that. I don't really have anything else to add there. Nothing else brewing on my mind whatsoever. And I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
So thank you for tuning into this episode of the East Bank Sports Show at the office. Make sure you subscribe, follow us on all of our socials at the East Bank Sports Show. Make sure you hit the download button if you've made it this far. Thank you for everybody tuning in and watching live. And until next time, we'll see you next time. I'm just kidding. I'm not done yet. I got beef. I'm not done yet.
Here we go. Here comes more mustard.
I have a clip to show, and it'll say everything I need to know. I won't stand for this. I want mustard PED tested.
Good Lord.
That's all.
You
That's
ran
all.
with it, Erik.
Have a good night. Thank you, Cleveland.